You're listening to the Shit You Can't Make Up podcast, a conversation with friends, hosted by Marisol Sanchez.
Hey, thanks for listening. My voice is getting hoarser.
Yeah, it is.
Oh, that's my text. Hold on a second. This
is not a good intro, Marisol.
That was just my son texting me the red.
Oh yeah, devil's advocate. I laughed because I saw this thing Ella did. She called it a sin sipper. the red Starbucks cups.
I have a theory. My theory is that Starbucks on some level started this. Like, I don't honestly think.
As like I want to get people to like.
Yeah, I can't read. Like, I don't have the time to go back and do the research sessions. Other people probably do, but like where this originated from.
Yeah.
Like, Starbucks is probably like, yes.
The one that I can't find, and maybe this is just my feed or the things that I read, is I can't find the people that are up in arms about it.
That's what I'm saying.
Right.
Should we tell them what we're talking about?
Okay, yeah, maybe we should introduce. You never introduced me last time. Yeah, you did, I guess.
Beth. This is my friend Beth, and we're having conversations by microphone.
I haven't had a conversation because your voice is like really good.
I'll be fine. I'm going to drink some water. Sorry. I tell you, the few emails I do get are not right now because I sound like a frog, but my male friend or fan or that might be a strong word, listener.
You male fans, yeah.
Say enjoy my voice, but right now it sounds froggy.
Well, I think that they'll probably enjoy it even more. All smoky. I mean, look at that smoky vibe.
50s. Yeah. Excuse me. So we just did a podcast that we had a lot of fun, and I kept. If you do listen to that podcast, I kept going on because there was more that I wanted to talk to you about, and not letting it end naturally.
Right. And we sort of had thought before, very loosely, that we would talk about a certain subject, and we never even really got to that subject. So we thought we'd maybe continue a podcast and talk about it.
Yeah, which was I'm going to lose like most of my friend listeners at this.
Okay,
but
me too.
I am a fan of the Kardashians.
Yeah,
I'm a fan. Like I don't think they're perfect. I don't idolize them. I don't obviously want my daughter to start a career off of a sex tape or anything like that. But if she does, I hope she gets business savvy.
Yeah.
As they are, I think I want to be a person who doesn't judge people, but I feel like I do judge people when they hate on them because it's like so easy. It's just like if you don't watch the show, which I totally get, I understand.
Right.
But if you do, yeah, it's scripted, and yeah, it's ridiculous, the wealth and the fashion, the overt sex. Well, I don't judge the overt sexuality, but you know what I mean? I think Kris Jenner loves her children. I think it comes across so clearly.
Yeah.
I think they're complicated. #Kathleen Jenner.
Caitlyn.
Yeah.
Well, I don't want to call myself a fan. But then, I mean, like, not that I dislike them, but I check all the boxes of a fan. Like, I watch their show. I'm interested in them. Like, I follow them on Instagram.
Poor Kim. You can tell she's suffering through pregnancy. She does not like Kim pregnancy money.
She is not. No, not at all. And her sisters are looking better than ever. What was that hashtag, the ugly sister? I'm the hot sister now.
When I thought this was really bitchy, it was in a sisterly way. I don't have sisters, but when Courtney was pregnant with her third fucking child, if I looked that good after 3 children, I would be.
She looks really amazing. Maybe that's why we're such good friends. Neither one of us have sisters.
I thought we were good friends. We don't have sisters. We like the arts.
Yeah.
We see a lot of different perspectives. Like, we don't get, like, this perspective. We're in the minority in our age group. You having teenage daughters, we should be hating on the Kardashians. Like, oh, they're horrible role models. Because they're such a momager. You know, she's whoring out her children.
Yeah.
I personally think they're doing something right.
Yeah.
And something's wrong, you know.
Yeah.
And it doesn't look like a happy, you know. Shit, those men. Did you see that headline? That was the funniest fucking headline.
I don't think which one.
One of those magazines that says Kardashian ruined men, and it says like,
well, I mean, if you think about it, like
alcoholic overdoses and hitting the woman.
And that you can't make that up.
That is shit.
And then there's Kanye.
There's Kanye. Who I'm fascinated by.
Yeah, no, I'm not as much a Kanye fan as I am a Kardashian Jenner fan. But
yeah. I'm a weird Kanye fan because I listened to, I hardly recall the names, and I think it's College Dropout album when I was running. When those days we used to run, I think I one of the half marathons.
Right.
Excuse me. And I listened to his album, and I learned a lot from his album. Like, I never knew much about the Blood Diamond, you know, situation, and he made me interested enough to Google something for a night.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
But I don't buy diamonds, but I don't, mainly because, you know.
Right. Right.
I walk into Tiffany's, I would like everything.
But yeah, we've been, like, I've watched them. I'm not as caught up this season, but, like, I think the people that really hate on them don't really watch the show, because if you watch the show, they really sort of have a halfway normal family, like, their family dynamic together.
And they
think
love
it's
the
sort of
siblings.
normal. And they love each other. Their sisters are so close, and
they love their brother.
They love their brother. Mm-hmm.
And they're flawed, but everyone's fucking flawed. And the fact that they're making millions of dollars showing their their flawedness, and I think Kim is brilliant. I mean, they make so much fun of her and stuff, and I'm like, I'm sorry, all our daughters are doing the selfie thing. She basically, I don't know if she
invented that.
Yeah, she is this generation's thing. And the more we hate on them, the more we're just, like, repeating that pattern of the parent that, you know. Though my child, my teenager is mortified by the fact that she won't watch it. But that's what I get annoyed, because I'm like, you're the one following the crap. Like, it's not me because I like the Kardashians.
Yeah.
It's you because you have to automatically dislike them when you don't watch the show.
Right. Yeah. Right. Well, and I have a teenage girl who loves to watch the Kardashians with me. So, and, you know.
And you can have conversations.
And she, you know, we like to go to PacSun, and, you know, the Kylie, Kendall. Yeah. I don't know what their brand is called, but it might be like Kylie Kendall, but, like, look at that and all that kind of stuff.
Last night Kendall was on Victoria. I didn't see it. I saw it on Instagram.
I saw some.
She's beautiful.
Yeah, she is. They're all incredibly beautiful.
Awesome.
You know, the interesting thing is when they're all made up, they almost all look exactly alike.
Yeah, except on that cover where she was Chloe's my favorite.
Yeah.
Chloe's my favorite. Though I question her relationship with Odom. Like, I appreciate the loyalty. I appreciate that that's compassion that she's showing.
Mm-hmm.
But I just, you know, I think you also have to start with being compassionate to yourself. And he keeps embarrassing the fuck out of him.
Well, I don't know, like, I saw her interviewed maybe for the Today Show or something like that, and they asked her if he has shown her gratitude. Like, how is he showing her gratitude for being there and, you know, being by his side? And she said, well, I'm not really sure that he's able to show gratitude yet, but and it made me wonder, like, is he still in, like, I sort of assumed that he was getting better, and
I don't know the details. I just, it all happened when I was in India.
Yeah.
So it was kind of interesting was coming back to that, because that was like the first news you get hit with. As soon as, you know, I was able to look through my Facebook feed and the funny e-cards and the
Yeah. You get all your news from that.
So all I was able to basically piece together from that, not having like gone and read the stuff, was that he was at a
Las Vegas brothel, I think, and he'd been
not
there.
judging.
He'd gone there to relax, which I didn't know that's where you went to relax, because I thought like you went to like a spa or like the beach. But I guess some people check in. Yeah, I guess you can check into a Las Vegas brothel for a few days. But he'd been there a few days, and before he OD'd.
So,
Comments?
None. I have none. Yes, I like them, but yeah, that's the story I came back to. So that he was in a brothel, and she came as aid, but I didn't know the severity of what happened to him, right? But I was just like, I feel like I don't know. I didn't watch their season. Like I watched one episode, so I don't know. But I just think she's an incredibly compassionate human being.
Yeah, totally.
To her detriment, though, sometimes.
Yeah.
And that just maybe comes with age.
Well, like everything that's happened, she, even before all this happened, she said that, she loves them and she'll always love them. And
that's her family.
Yeah, that's her family. And I guess they weren't divorced. And
I'm going to write something that I can't say out loud.
Oh. Okay, hold on. Where are my glasses? I can't read it. Oh, no, yeah.
Side note.
Yeah. Yeah, it's been interesting to watch, and I did like. I mean, I tried. Did you watch Call Me Kate? Is it Call Me Kate or I Am Kate?
I'm not sure. Just one. I'm not as I applaud him. I was shocked by the story. Like I mean, I thought there were moments of humor. They were going to do the.
Yeah.
I felt awful for Chris. I legitimately thought that's fucking complicated. Like whatever she knew, didn't know. It was still 20 whatever years of marriage.
Yeah. Well, if you watch this season, she's really upset. I mean, like you can tell that it's this is where you see sort of the fallout from all of that.
Yeah. So I'm not a big, but I'm a big fan of. I guess if there's a closet for people to be on, for different reasons and different, I would say transgender is like far back in the closet. They're the furthest back,
Yeah.
And in the closet, just, where you have to be like secretive or ashamed. Yeah, they're going through the political stuff, like the bathroom stuff and all that. So the more that it's out, the better for the future.
Yeah.
So that I'm happy about, but I'm not particularly a big particular fan.
Yeah, I just didn't find that interesting.
I know what I mean. I thought he projected a lot. Like, I think she was, like, kind of a hard-ass wife, but I think she fucking had to be. It sounded like he wasn't responsible about money. It's not like they were in debt when they got hooked up, and she helped him brand.
That's a deja vu story, isn't it? Well, and I just found it like sort of uninteresting. Like I sort of like I like seeing it as like this reality TV. It just wasn't, I don't know, for me, but I did try to watch a few. But I thought it wasn't great to his kids. Like and I sort of get it, it's about him. Like, it's her and her. It's about her and her time now, and that she doesn't really have to answer to her kids. But I just thought she wasn't, they were like, needing things from her that she wouldn't really give.
I agree. I also think that he was mean, whatever. I'm sure there was fault on both sides, but I fundamentally think that the mother or the father of your children should have a level, or he should have respect. They're public figures.
Right.
This was a lot to ask of their children. Not a lot to ask, but they were going to go through their shit very publicly.
Yeah.
And he was kind of narcissistic about it. Just
Yeah.
which I guess, after 60 years of not being yourself, I guess you.
Yeah. Well, I think the most shocked I was is when I laid eyes on the Vanity Fair cover, and that I realized that was Caitlyn Jenner, and because I don't know what I expected her to look like, but that was not it.
I took that picture and I sent it to a friend saying, "Shit, she's gonna get a boyfriend before I do." That's not right. Fuck. I need more competition.
It's like, holy crap, that is wow. So what do you think about poor Scott Disick?
I think he's complicated. I feel badly for him. I think he's bad choices, bad behavior. Yeah. I mean, I've thought that for a while. But I think, he's a complicated person. I hope he stays a good dad to the kids.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I think it's a big loss for him. As far as, that's his family. He just lost,
Yeah, I haven't, and I think that's, that big family is his family, and so it's not just,
he's
losing
so young.
Courtney, it's losing that whole family. I know, he is so young. I feel really bad for him, and I don't necessarily want her to take him back or for them to get back together, but I do hate that I sort of wanted to see him, grow up and in that life, but I don't think that's gonna happen.
Oh,
Okay. She's leaving me.
I like Kanye. I know he's flawed. I know he said shitty things to Taylor Swift, and he's all conceited and crazy. But I love that he's in touch. He's emotional to the point that he looks like a freak. But I'm I think we should. The older I get, the more I'm we're not just one type of person. We're emotional people. We're intellectual. And men who are emotional are somehow freak, it's looked upon negatively.
Yes.
Which I think is a shame because that's, that's not, going back to the last podcast about, dating, it's men are, can you say, you can't use that word anymore. Men, I find, are emotionally,
stunted
on the short bus.
I don't even use that word either.
Okay, sorry, I really did not mean that meant. They are emotionally
stunted. They're emotionally stunted, or
they're super good, nice, but it's I don't know. It's this tipping point of go out, you get to know them, and then it's suddenly oh, there's your 12-year-old inner child showing up and
not a fan.
I'm not going to work this out with you. So let me.
That's probably where he is too, because I mean, a lot of the stuff on the show, you sort of think is for the show, but I think he's
not a happy person. He's very self-harming.
Yeah. So I've got to get caught up on my Kardashians.
The season's done.
Is it done?
The new one's next week.
Okay, I think I still have one to watch before the new one comes out. Yeah. And I think this is right where Scott. It's sort of weird because they're so famous that you sort of follow their life in real life, and then you see the reality show later. And where you see all the details and stuff. But so I think this is about the time in their show where Scott leaves, and so.
And the new season, I think, starts next week.
But I think
I do watch it. I do watch Lolo.
You let Lolo watch it?
I don't let her. It was one of these where I just noticed she was hidden behind the couch.
Yeah. I'm trying to think of what would be bad. I'm sure there is a lot of stuff, and I think it's rated 14, maybe. I don't know.
But see, it wasn't even.
What is it you wouldn't want her to see? I'm sure there is stuff. I just can't think of any.
Mostly, I think it's the sexualization. It's highly. Not, it's too, but I don't let her. It just.
It's
one of those
happens.
Guilty pleasures, whatever. Never mind. It's like you lost your iPad, and then you can walk in 2 hours later.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, you lost anything that has electricity.
Yeah. Well, and like sort of on that note, like we say, like I'm a fan and people that hate on them, but then on the other hand, like I'm watching with my now 16-year-old daughter, and you know, Kylie Jenner's barely 2 years older than her, and so, and you're watching where she has sort of, this is an Amy Schumer joke, but it's like where they have taken their natural face as like a loose suggestion for what they should look like.
Yeah.
And like Kylie is my daughter's age, and like she's got the huge like lips, and I think there's been some other things, and you know, she's in the clubs with Tyga, and it's just like, are we watching this just as like entertainment, or are we like, you know?
She's young. She's
really young.
I think when she started those promos, when she's really young, and she grew up. I mean, it's partly like
10 years old or 8.
Yeah, like I can walk myself through her lifestyle being more than your daughter, because your daughter's not. I mean, she's not in Hollywood. She's not buying herself any man. You know what I mean? Like, she's not a reality TV show being criticized for all that. So that's the life that she's living. But I do think that's a lot for her at that age.
Right. I'm sure like I'm sure there's goals for her Instagram, like how many likes she can get and followers.
She's like popular in one of them, like Snapchat. She's like a Snapchat queen or something. See, like all that shit.
Have you tried to go on Snapchat?
Yes, I felt very old. I'm like a cyclops.
That's hilarious. I feel like, I mean, I'm not like the most tech savvy person, but I feel like I understand most of social media and that kind of thing to an extent, but I wanted to go on Snapchat and like get an account so I couldn't
understand what they're doing,
maybe do a little cyber sneaking, and I could not figure it out at all. Like, not even...
That's when I gave up.
A little bit. Like, I think I even deleted the app. Like, I couldn't even, like...
That was a moment as a mother. I'm like, you know what? I just have to really, really raise them right.
Yeah.
I know what to do and what not to do, because I just... Same thing. I went on to, like... They were, like, I jumped on Instagram. They jumped off.
Yeah. Exactly. Now they're on Snapchat.
And it's like, okay, I'm just going to have to focus on you as a human being and not the apps you're doing, because there's too much, like the one I don't know if we were talking in the last episode or off mic, but we were talking about like all these apps where you can hide
the ghost apps. Yeah, where you can hide your stuff. Yeah.
I just can't keep up. I have a child on my account, and it's, trying to keep up. It's like, hey, you read their text. Hey, what's up?
Yeah.
What are you doing?
Yeah.
Nothing. What are you doing? Like, I just don't. I really don't have the time.
Yeah.
Nor inclination.
I'll like ask my daughter when we're like driving to school. I'm like, "What's on the Snapchat this morning?" Like, I make it like really geeky, like the Snapchat. And she's like, "Oh, somebody posted a video of like their outfit." I'm like, "Can I see it?" And they're like, "Mom, it's gone. It's already it's already gone." And I'm like, I never can see anything. But I don't think it is gone. I just think she doesn't want to show it to me. But
because now they have a feed on it, which I thought was interesting.
Your Snapchat story.
Yeah, because I had the conversation of like, nothing's ever really gone on the internet. Right.
Because you can put it up there and it's gone after a while, but all anybody has to do is take a screenshot. Yeah. I saw this really interesting, it was like a little web thing, like 3-minute video, and it's really about your children monitoring you. And it was really, I have to share it with you, and maybe you can put it up on your like website or whatever, but it's about like, and I'm not so guilty of this because I don't like share a lot on Facebook, but all of my friends, like I have a lot of this comes through my feed, all the little, the cards where like they're talking about wine, how much they love wine, and all of this, and like the funny wine stories, and like every photo is like wine, and it shows this like it's a video of like what your kids are actually looking at your Facebook and seeing all this, and how they're internalizing like what you're doing on Facebook. And we're always thinking that, and especially like these children that are like 13, 14, 15, 16, like we're always worried about like monitoring them, but like they're really sort of monitoring us too. And like,
oh my God, have you met my son? literally. What is it? By my iPhone, I went out. I was on a date. I was on a date. I think I wasn't on a date. I think I went to see a friend, but he thought I was seeing Sven back in the Sven days, like on a date, because I don't go out with their hair. You know?
Yeah.
There was a date at there. He like tracked me on my iPhone, like the iPhone.
The Where's My iPhone app?
Yeah. I was all. I was just like one time I was at the club. Sorry, that's my dog.
The dog and the cat are like having a little wrestle match.
It's sort of 4 beds in
Well,
sorry.
gotta get all their energy out.
What was I saying?
Oh, you were on your date with Sven and Thomas.
Oh no, I wasn't. I was actually at book club, but I think he thought
Okay.
I wasn't at book
Yeah.
club. And like, you know, I'm like, and I had to come home and have the who's the adult here conversation.
Yeah.
Like, because I could tell he's like, so what book are you like? Questions he would not normally ask. Kind of, you know, like, what book are you reading? Who's there?
Yeah.
Say hi. You know, like.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, my son was like, Mom, I like go on Facebook every like couple of weeks and look at your page, because you know none of them do Facebook, and or they have accounts, but like they just use it to creep around a little, I think. But he's like, and all you're doing is posting pictures of me, like, and I'm like, no, I'm not. Not at all. And then I like went on my wall and like the last like 10 posts are just him. Like nothing for me, nothing for my like. I'm like, oh, I am. I don't even realize it.
You know what? It's probably because he's good. He's
a senior. Yeah. So
let the next 100 be about him. Like.
Well, that is definitely true, because like there's some senior things that are going on that that's sort of the stuff you want to share. But
That's what's going on in your life.
Right. But I'm also like managing the page for a sports team at the high school. So like I do that. So there's a lot. I like post on that a lot more, and that just sort of follows. But I'm like, okay, I'm sorry, I won't do that. I'll like, I think it sort of annoyed him. He doesn't like being out there, but I don't know.
My kids don't want to acknowledge my Instagram and or Facebook.
So do you think your kids listen to your podcast?
And I know Thomas listened to the one about when he was in the hospital and his grandma. I talked about crying.
Right.
He heard that one. That was a good one.
Yeah.
We talked a lot about, it was a teachable moment about
right.
It's okay to cry.
Right.
As people get older, like happens. So that was the only one, but they don't want to.
Okay.
And we have had very, like Heather, or I think would have wanted to. It hasn't and doesn't.
Right.
But I think they will.
Right.
Like I think if God forbid I, or died, they would go back and listen to them.
Yeah, I'm sure they would. Well,
I think they will one day.
Mm-hmm.
But they don't now. But they're very.
But they're aware of them.
They're aware.
They're out there.
Very. I mean, because I think they've also experienced a lot of my changes.
Mm-hmm.
Because they were in what, 4th or 5th grade when.
Yeah.
I started coming, went to therapy, started living a healthier life. They've seen, me being a flagrant atheist, they're coming back and giving them like, hey, these are some blessed wallabies, don't let them touch the ground. They've seen an evolution too, so they're very, what's the word I'm looking for? Positive. Like they think it's, I wouldn't go as far as to say cool.
Right.
God forbid.
Right.
But
it's like a positive evolution, and this is like part of it. But they're afraid of it at the same time.
They're not afraid of it. They just kind of, I think they just kind of have this realization that their mom, I am who I am.
Mm-hmm.
I have red hair. I'm not the typical Wellington mother. And they've accepted that. And, I think, I don't know, I'm sure, have many hours of therapy. I don't know. We already discussed this. I'm like, you need.
I was writing notes to myself something to talk about off microphone.
But, they, so they're aware. I would say they're kind of a little bit proud. I don't know if that's the right word. I don't know. I'd have to ask them. Maybe they're embarrassed. And they're also embarrassed. Because
they're teenagers.
They're teenagers.
And moms are really not supposed to have a life.
Yeah, Heather's very particular about her Instagram. She has a whole formula.
Right.
And
I think kids are, obviously kids today are different. And, I feel like my relationship with my kids are so different than they were with my parents. Neither better or worse, but I can't even imagine, growing up in a world where my mother had a Facebook page and her putting things on it for the world and my friends to see and be judged by. So, I haven't really thought about that much, but, because I'm always like, well, I just put, fun, cute things.
See, they're they've been witnesses to some shit you can't make. I was on a field trip with them when my brother who was murdered when I was 9, long-lost son, found me on Facebook. I was at a freaking field trip. And this was basically, spade to spade. I never talked about my family. They had minimal contact. I think one Thanksgiving, it was, I had so many problems with my past that I was what's the word, inoculating?
Yeah.
I was trying to keep them inoculated from what I thought
was,
and we healed a lot of that. I worked through and just had that family reunion this year. So they've seen, this dramatic shift. So they're kind of you need to, that's an interesting story,
Yeah.
When they hear Donald Trump say stuff, they're like, I can say, your cousin Lisette, you met, blah, 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 and, that's who he's referring, even though we're not Mexican, that's what,
That's funny.
So,
yeah.
So I think that's the take I take. Lola loves it. Lola,
Right.
She wants
loves
to
being on it, being a star, being all that.
Yeah, she wants to be a YouTube. Yeah, her goal in life is to be a YouTube star. Heather's 13. She's slightly proud, slightly mortified.
Yeah.
And Thomas is surprisingly the most supportive.
Okay.
I think so. That's interesting.
When are you gonna get another podcast out, Laura?
Or there are just a couple moments where he's like, "Oh, this would be a good, story."
I need to make a note of that. Yeah.
That was there's a story. It was I think I may have told you this after the fact. It was Lola's doing competitive cheer, and this is my first experience with it. I've not done anything that requires me to travel on weekends with my children.
Yeah. Cheers.
Can't wait. No, but it's actually been, up until now, it's been really good for her because she's so much energy. So this is it is athletic.
Right.
Cheerleading is a sport.
Cheerleading is a sport. Cheerleaders are athletes.
Yes.
Yeah.
As Lola says as she swings her little ponytail. So we had just joined this team. We just had, the girls didn't know each other, and they really promote having a couple team building things. And as you can tell by my hosting skills, I'm a one and done girl. I'll do one thing, and then don't ask me. Don't make me do one more stuff at the grocery. So I hosted a pool party.
Nice.
For the team. Yeah. So I met the moms one time before I had said that. It was like a mom's meeting. And this woman at the table, one of the moms, starts telling us her story. I should have her on the podcast. And it was like shit you can't make up. Like, I went to the bathroom, and another mom was there, and I was like, holy shit. Like, she has cancer, like stage something, 8 children. The girl that's doing the cheerleading thing was a twin, who's the twin died. Like to the point where you're like, is this shit for real?
Right.
And so she was just an amazing woman. So like it was listening to her story. And so at the end, I like hugged her. I'm like, you ever in meeting? If there's anything help, I mean, that's pretty, that's fucked up. You're dying.
Right.
I mean, we're all dying, but she's getting there quicker.
Right.
So, but I didn't know her. I couldn't tell you her name after that dinner. It was just not being, I didn't follow up. So the pool party. So
like when you hugged her and said, if there's anything you can do, that was at the pool party or that was before the pool party? That was at the cheer thing.
That was at the mom meeting.
Okay, the mom meeting. Okay. The first time. And then she came over to the pool party.
No, she didn't come. I saw her at one of the kids' practices. And I said I asked her how she was doing. She was going to have a procedure. And she said, I'm really, her daughter was very upset because she was going to miss the pool party because she had to go have
her mom.
I think it was biopsy. But it's like, it was an 8-hour surgery.
Right.
I didn't know that at the time, that day. I just knew she was going in for a procedure. And so she, so let's say I think it was my birthday, actually. They're being psychotic around the birthday time. So it was like the week, her birthday was a Tuesday, like that Friday was the party. So I said that to her Tuesday. So Friday, we had figured out that she was going to just drop her daughter off early, her go for a procedure, and the daughter was going to sleep over. Everyone was aware it was going to be fine. I was worried because she wasn't a strong swimmer. So I was like one of those where I asked the kids, we all have to help watch her. So and so on. Lola was not happy because she wasn't the youngest.
She wasn't getting all the attention. She wasn't the one being watched.
She was okay. She wasn't maybe the best of nurses. But so the mom drops her off. And so as I tell the story, I want to put the perspective that she's about to go in the next day to 8 hours. She's dropping her child off. Right. She has no family here in town.
Right.
Or whatnot. And dropping her child off to a basic stranger. So she was having a moment. So, I say that because she kind of went a little, she's like, God put you in my life for a reason. I went to the lawyer. I just met this woman. The girl was going to say to her. She's like, I just went to the lawyers, and if something happens to me, I'd like you to. And she's saying this in front of the little girl.
Yeah.
And shit, you can't fucking make up.
You just can't make that up. I mean, it's crazy. It's crazy.
Yeah. So then, I was,
So basically, she was dropping her off. You didn't know it was an 8-hour procedure.
She was very sick, but I didn't, I wasn't signing up to adopt, foster.
Right. If something happened to her in her surgery. So how long did the little girl end up staying with
5
you?
days. Within the 5 days, it was crazy shit. There was a crazy story. And this goes back to my kids and then them being supportive of this podcast because they were not only witnesses, they were characters in this story.
Right.
Because the lady tells me that I have the foresight to realize she's just fucking she's scared as fuck. And there's no point in me really freaking out.
Right.
This isn't about me.
Right.
I'm just saying, the first step she needed to get through her surgery.
Right.
I thought it was very smart. I'm like, okay, so give me some names and numbers of
like your next of kin.
Yeah. There was no point for me to be like, hey, I'm not taking. She needed to become I needed her back. is what I was reasoning. And me telling her that, no, sorry. I would love to be the kind of human. I'm not saying I wouldn't have, but it's like,
don't put me in this position when you're sort of dropping your daughter off like one afternoon for her to like theoretically spend the night.
Yeah, I'm going to compliment myself, which I'm not comfortable with. I think I was compassionate enough to realize she was having a moment. The reality isn't that, God forbid something happened to her, I was going to adopt this child. It would be a horrible situation to be in, but, I didn't have to make it about me. I'm not the one going to 8-hour surgery. At the worst, I'm taking care of a girl for a few days.
Right. No, I think you're like totally open-hearted and kind to have done, to do that and be like, take care of another person's young child while this all happens when you have your own 3 children.
And my nephew was staying with me at the time.
And your nephew. And, I guess this doesn't really matter, but, it's not even someone you really know.
Yeah, no.
It's really barely an acquaintance. It's
a
level 1, acquaintance.
Well, when the cheerleading moms came that evening for the pool party, I was kind of a little bit in shock. Well, back up.
I'm sure you were.
I'm like, okay, I'm hugging her. I'm like, Godspeed, I gotta remember, she leaves, and Thomas, it's sort of like that movie that where Tom Cruise comes and slides out. He heard everything.
He slides across the floor to socks.
Did I just hear?
What?
What?
WTF, Mom? Oh.
But it was a great opportunity, because I was like, let's take a breath. Let's look at the situation. I said, right now, the only thing we can do is be as kind, as nice as this child's mother is going into surgery. That's all we got to do. Just day by day. We don't have to go to the future. And so he was like, okay. Then this is, of course, my son. Of course, take the opportunity to be incredibly charming. Gave her all the attention in the world, which makes my youngest
even worse.
She was just like,
I'm going to be the hero in this story.
He's like, no compassion. He's
a hero.
He's like, how's my sister? Tell my sister, we drop him off, or Lola. He's like, he'll see the little girl. He's like, tell my sister.
Oh my God, that's hilarious.
So Heather's an anxious child, so she was very like, what's going to happen? The worst case scenario, blah, blah. And again, I was like, we can go there, or we can just deal with right now. It was one of those damn hashtag be in the moment.
Yeah. I like kids. They like order. They like knowing what's happening.
Yes.
So, so that's just natural that they were all riled up. So my follow-up question to this that I haven't, I don't know the answer to, and I'm really sort of dying is, how much have you seen this mom since she picked up her child?
A handful of times, just when I drop off. We're Facebook friends.
Oh, well, there you go. She dropped her kid off for over a week and made you her guardian if she. I was just but now you're Facebook friends.
We're Facebook friends, and I was honest with her when she came back. I was like,
okay.
I'm assuming you had a moment. You said some things in front. We talked. I was like, but I'm not. I couldn't. I was on. I can't take on because she doesn't. I understand what it's like when you don't have family around.
Yeah.
To go to with emergencies. So I think that's what.
Yeah.
So I was never but I did have a lot of fun with the moms because they came over for the pool party
and they're probably like.
So I'm telling the story because I'm kind of in shock.
You're this is a suburban mom pool party, and this has just gone down, and they're going, what?
I don't know their name. I had mixed drinks, and they were some of them were yeah, I'll have some. Some were I don't know them.
Yeah.
And I'm like, they said, two of them said something what? Am I right?
Yeah.
I said, okay, we're a team, right? This is all about team.
Yeah, and they're no, we're out.
No, they were all they were actually very sweet ladies, but it was so those are things that I feel I can have a story. Like, these are my little stories. These are like
and that's a pretty good story.
Yeah. And there's
like that is something like, everybody has stories and things in life that are story-worthy to them. But, like, that's a real story. Like, that doesn't happen.
Right.
And you do.
You've never agreed. I have so many.
Yes.
I have she speaks French.
But yes.
I never told the Paris story in the last podcast, did I?
Were you going to tell the story?
No,
you weren't. You just teased the story. I thought we were going to go offline and tell the story, but then it ended up that we were just still rolling.
I'm going back.
You'll have to tell that another time, like on podcast 50. That will be the reward.
Get to
podcasting. Hang with us.
50. I will renegotiate my terms with someone.
So, yeah.
Because I got, Well, thank you. So that wasn't linear.
No, was it not linear?
I don't know. That's a criticism. You always say goodbye, and then I always add one more thing.
Well,
one of the things I get about the podcast is, but this is from the men that listen, being more linear.
Yeah.
Dude, I'm not linear when I haven't had tequila.
Right. No, I think sometimes you're not so linear, but you always come back to the point. I think we've talked about sort of like social media, Kardashians with their social media and raising children in that environment and children in social media and how it's just completely different. And then, and like, just a great story that you just can't make up.
Tied it all in.
You tied it all in, exactly.
Thank you for listening.
Where can we find you, Marisol?
Oh, shit, that list is so long. And so disjointed. So if any of my dear listeners would like to organize this stuff for us, please let me know. Okay. The easiest place, or the best place for me personally, is if you subscribe on iTunes. If you do not have an iTunes compatible device, you can find them on my website, www. You can't make up letter U. And I have a Facebook page, which is not under that name. It's under, what the fuck is that one called? A Diary of a Midlife Crisis. Because we are in the mid of our life. We're in the perspective of the past, but now, not the future. The future's just scary. All right, thank you for listening, and talk to you next time.